She was 9 years old, barefoot, thin, and holding a guitar that looked like it had survived a war. The kind of guitar you don't play for fame. You play it to stay alive. She stood beneath the cold fluorescent lights of the largest television studio in Los Angeles. The sign above the hallway read, "America's New Star." The man in the tailored blue suit turned and frowned at her. Her small voice broke the silence. "If I sing well," she asked softly, "will you give me a plate of food?" For a second, the producer looked surprised. Then a smirk spread across his face. He laughed, a short, cruel laugh that echoed down the sterile hall. "Sweetheart," he said, "you're not here to win. You're here to make the audience laugh. Don't take it so seriously." Maya Carter blinked once. She didn't look away. She simply tightened the string on her broken guitar, took a deep breath, and looked at him with a calmness that unnerved him. She said quietly, "I understand." But what she didn't say was that this would be the last time anyone would look down on her like that. She'd had enough. Enough of being treated as less. Enough of being invisible because of the color of her skin. Just 2 hours earlier, Maya had been sitting beneath an old bridge downtown. The cars above made the ceiling hum like thunder. She sang quietly to herself, a song her grandmother Evelyn had taught her, a gospel tune about hope rising through pain. A woman dropped $1 into her case. A man dropped nothing but a whisper. "Pretty voice." Shame it won't get her anywhere. Maya smiled politely, but inside, she carried those words like a spark, not because they hurt, but because they proved what her grandmother always said. They see your color before they see your gift. That afternoon, a white van stopped by the curb. 3 production assistants stepped out with cameras and clipboards. They'd been sent by the producers of America's New Star to find stories that sell. They weren't looking for talent. They were looking for tragedy. One of them whispered, "She's perfect, black, poor, emotional. The audience will eat it up." They approached her, asked her to audition. They promised her food, maybe even a little money. Maya hesitated. But something deep inside whispered, "Go." Backstage, the air smelled like perfume, makeup, and pride. Dozens of children waited, white, well-dressed, glowing under the studio lights. Their parents laughed, sipping bottled water and talking about scholarships and agents. Maya sat quietly on the cold floor near the back wall, holding her guitar close. When she reached for a snack from the catering table, an assistant stopped her. "Sorry, sweetheart," she said with a sugary smile. "Those are for contestants." "I am a contestant," Maya replied softly. The woman glanced at her clipboard. "Oh, right, the special act. You'll be last." The way she said "special" made Maya's stomach twist. Nearby, a girl with blonde curls and a glittering pink dress turned to her father. "Daddy," she whispered, "why is she here?" Her father smiled. The kind of smile people use when they're about to say something cruel but quiet. "She's here, sweetheart, to remind people how far you are above." Maya's hands clenched around her guitar. She didn't cry. She'd learned not to. She'd learned to store every insult, every smirk, every time someone looked through her instead of at her, and turn it into fire. Richard Brennan, the show's lead producer, strutted through the backstage like a king. He was the kind of man who smiled only when cameras were rolling. "Okay, people," he shouted. "Tonight we make America cry. This is about emotion, not reality. Find me stories that make people feel sorry." He saw Maya sitting on the floor and snorted. "Who's the kid?" One assistant whispered, "The street girl, the one with the guitar." "Perfect," he said. "Put her at the end. After all the real singers, she'll be our little surprise. The audience loves contrast. Clean faces, dirty faces, makes good TV." They laughed. Maya heard every word. She just lowered her head and whispered a single name. Grandma. Because Evelyn Carter was more than a memory. She was a fighter. A gospel singer who had once led choirs in Harlem when singing while black was a form of protest. She taught Maya how to breathe, how to control her pitch, and how to turn pain into melody. Evelyn used to say, "Baby, they might control the stage, but you control the silence that follows." Hours passed. Children rehearsed, stylists touched up hair, photographers snapped pictures. But no one spoke to Maya. When she finally stood to adjust her guitar, one of the girls laughed. "Do you even know how to read music?" "I know how to feel it," Maya said. The girl rolled her eyes. "My vocal coach says talent without training is just luck." Maya smiled faintly. "Then maybe luck believes in me." In her backpack was a yellowed envelope, her most precious possession. It was the last thing Evelyn had written before she died. The letter said, "If one day you feel invisible, remember who you come from. Your voice carries generations of people who were never allowed to be heard. Don't sing to be accepted. Sing so they can't forget you." At the bottom of the letter was another line. "If you ever find Daniel King, my former student, show him this. He'll know what to do." Minutes before her performance, Maya noticed a man at the edge of the stage. Silver hair, sharp eyes. He looked at her for a long moment, not with pity, but recognition. He walked over. "What's your name, child?" "Maya Carter." "Maya Evelyn Carter." His expression changed instantly. "Evelyn Carter was your grandmother?" "Yes, sir." He took a deep breath. "She was my mentor. She changed my life. I owe her everything." Maya reached into her bag, pulled out the letter, and handed it to him. He read it, eyes glistening. He looked up and whispered, "I'm Daniel King." Maya smiled slightly. "I know." Then she said something that made him freeze. "They're planning to humiliate me. Please don't stop them, just record everything." He hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Yes," she said firmly. "I need them to show the world what they really are, before I show them who I am." When her name was called, the crowd shifted impatiently. Richard whispered to his crew, "All right, cue the static when she starts." Make it sound awful. America loves a good train wreck. Maya stepped onto the stage. The lights blinded her. Her bare feet met the cold floor. She lifted her chin and looked straight at the audience, rows of faces waiting to judge. "Good evening," she said softly. "My name is Maya Evelyn Carter. This song is for my grandmother, who taught me that music is stronger than hate." She strummed her first chord. Then it happened. A loud hiss ripped through the speakers. The crowd laughed. Some covered their ears. Richard smirked backstage. "Cut her off," he muttered, but Maya didn't stop. She stepped away from the microphone, closed her eyes, and began to sing. Her voice poured out, pure, rich, defiant. It soared over the noise, over the laughter, over the static. She sang Amazing Grace, but not like they'd ever heard it. She sang it the way Evelyn used to, half hymn, half rebellion. Her voice filled the studio like thunder wrapped in honey. Every note was soaked in years of survival. Her pain became power. Her hunger became harmony. By the second verse, the laughter had stopped. By the third, people were standing. When she finished, the silence was heavy. The kind of silence that means something inside people has shifted. Then came the sound. Applause. Thunderous, unstoppable, emotional. Daniel King walked onto the stage, eyes glistening. He took the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, before you applaud anyone else tonight, you need to know who this little girl really is." He told them about Evelyn Carter, the black woman who had once been his teacher, who had fought through racism, who had composed music that was never credited to her because of her skin color. He said, "And this child, this extraordinary child, is her granddaughter. You tried to humiliate her, but she just reminded you what real talent sounds like." The audience gasped. Cameras flashed. Richard tried to hide. Daniel turned toward him. "We recorded everything you said. Every insult, every laugh, every word you used to turn a child's struggle into entertainment. And tonight the world will see it," the audience roared. Security escorted Richard out. The show's feed broadcast the footage live. For the first time, millions of viewers saw the ugliness behind the glamour, how racism still hid behind smiles and ratings. The video spread across the world overnight. 50 million views in a day. Hashtags flooded social media. Maya Carter, cheer sing through, the hate. Black girl Grace people wept watching her sing through sabotage. Schools replayed the moment in classrooms. Churches preached about it on Sundays. The nation that once wanted to laugh at her was now listening. Maya's words went viral. Don't sing to be accepted. Sing so they can't forget you. Daniel kept his promise. He founded the Evelyn Carter Project, scholarships, training programs, and studios for young black musicians who couldn't afford lessons. Maya became its ambassador. Every week, she visited neighborhoods where kids played music on cracked phones and plastic buckets. She sat with them, taught them breathing, rhythm, and faith. She told them, they used to laugh at me too. Now they listen. Her story reached the White House. She sang at national events, her voice now recognized around the world. But she never forgot that bridge. She never forgot hunger. She never forgot the night they tried to humiliate her. Richard Brennan disappeared from the spotlight. His name became poison in Hollywood. Producers refused to work with him. He issued an apology video that nobody believed. Olivia, the blonde girl who once laughed, wrote Maya a letter 2 years later. It read, "I judged you before you even opened your mouth. You taught me that talent has no color and grace doesn't need privilege." Maya wrote back, "Thank you. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but it makes room for a better future." At 11, Maya performed at Carnegie Hall. She walked onto the same stage where legends once stood, still carrying her repaired guitar. "This guitar," she told the audience, "used to be broken. So was I. But both of us found our sound again." She sang Rise Up, her voice raw, trembling, unstoppable. When she finished, the applause lasted longer than the song itself. By the time she turned 13, the Evelyn Carter Project had funded over 1,000 students. Kids from shelters and foster homes learned piano, violin, and voice. Maya mentored them personally. She told them, "Your music isn't just sound, it's your story, and nobody can mute that." When asked what she wanted most now that she was famous, she said simply, "I want people to stop calling it a miracle when a black girl succeeds. It's not a miracle. It's a reminder that we've always had the talent. You just refuse to see it." Years later, Maya returned to that same bridge, the one where it had all started. She placed a plate of food on the ground beside her and whispered, "For the ones who still sing hungry." Then she began to play. Her voice floated up into the night, blending with the hum of the city. People stopped. Some cried. Some whispered her name. She didn't need cameras anymore. She didn't need applause. All she needed was her voice, and the promise she made to her grandmother, "Never let the world define your worth. Show them through your sound." And that's how a hungry, barefoot girl with a broken guitar turned humiliation into history. She didn't just sing. She made America listen. She turned prejudice into poetry. She turned injustice into a stage, because true talent has no color. It needs no permission. It waits, in silence, until the world is finally ready to hear it. And when it does, it changes everything.